Morning folks, I had a rare day off yesterday. I was kind of thinking that over the past decade I've worked more birthdays than I've had off, which isn't that uncommon, you know, most people do. But I just decided that yesterday, screw it, I'm going to have a day off. I didn't do particularly much. Went for a meal with my family, just chilled out. But what did happen during yesterday while I was relaxing is it gave me time to think. And I came up with something, well not came up with, I recognised something that's pretty important within mountain biking. It struck me that mountain biking is the same amount of fun whether you're really experienced and really good at it, or if you're brand new to it and just getting into it and not that experienced. I don't think it actually really matters, does it? If you're having that on a biological level, if you're having the adrenaline and the endorphins pumping because you're whizzing down through the woods and you're pushing yourself to be at the height of concentration and making your body force the bike to do what your body wants it to do, and ultimately, do you know what I mean? If it doesn't really matter whether you're a World Cup rider or whether you're a Sunday sessioner, I think you're going to have the same amount of fun and you're going to get those same releases of internal chemicals regardless of how long you've been doing it or how good at it you are. So although that's not something, it is to an extent, but it's not something that I might use in GNAR. It is definitely something that I need to think about and consider for this events company. Anyway, I think the overall moral of yesterday's day off is that it's a good idea to do it every now and again, because it allows you to just have a bit of space and a bit of time to think about other things, you know. Sometimes those are worthwhile thoughts, sometimes you come up with stuff that's going to be really handy for later on. For today, let's continue and cut our way through this new track. Now, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but this is one of my favourite parts about track building. Behind me is where I've cut through already, and I get to go back to that and decide where I've originally seen corners and turns and where I might want to put berms and features and things in. So that's all back there, and then in front of me, ahead of me right now, is just potential. So I kind of get to do the thinking it through and to some extent pretending that I would be riding it and choosing where we're going to go. So we've got all of that to go at down here. Now obviously I might have said in the last vlog, but this tree spacing gets a lot better. The line choice becomes a little easier, or not a little easier, a little more obvious to think through. But what we have got right now is it's just about to start raining. In fact, it just has started raining, so filming might be a little bit tricky, but we'll keep coming back to you. Right, so I have to admit I've not been particularly good at filming today. It's been sort of drizzly, and to be honest, with the rain and everything, you just kind of like, I'll just keep going, I'll get the camera out in a bit. Now I've paused for a second and I've got the camera out. So where are we? We are now level with Gasoline Alley. I also have to admit I haven't been particularly good at siding up the brash. It's a bit of a arduous task, and probably better when there's two of us, so I'm going to rope somebody in to help me out, come from kind of where I've been down to side up the brash. Where we're about to head into now, if any of you are familiar with the park, we've got an area, let's just walk down it, and we're going to have to walk down it anyway to have a look. I'm trying to trip over my saw. We've got an area now where it kind of narrows in for this back fence track, because the main push-up track does come very close to the fence in areas. It's not such a bad thing. What I've done is, prior to this, I've fit in a lot of options for swoopy turns. I don't know if I've mentioned in the past, but I want to kind of give as much as possible, excuse me, a Gasoline Alley feel to this track, with lots of kind of swoopy turns. But there's kind of a good example here as we get down at the entrance for get to the chopper. You can probably see that it's still pretty narrow, and it opens out into a couple of bits. But if we head right on down, what we find is, as soon as we get to, it's kind of roughly the top of the main push-up track, kind of down in here. You can see it's probably still a little bit narrow. We'll still get you twisting. It's not, I'm not going to just straight line through. Well, we can't straight line through because of the nature of the trees. I don't want to do any felling on there. I just want to weave you through. So here's an example. So as you get up to here, to the top of the push-up, and we can point you over at this, it opens out and there's much more range to put the swoops and the twists and the turns in. So it's really only a narrow section that'll take you down through here, but the idea will be is once this track's up and running, that'll be the section for just full gas and fully pin it. Right, so I've kind of fought my way down, and it has been a bit of a fight, but I've got myself down to a point where I'm nearly, hey, that was close. I've got myself down to a point where I'm just kind of just past where the push-up track is. So I'm kind of here, got down to my bag, push-up track's over there, which means that I'm pretty much at the halfway point. The good news is it gets easier as we get on in. At this point then, I'm halfway down with the cutting process of the racetrack. It's the front 3rd of November, so I can genuinely say I'm pretty pleased about where I'm at so far, and everything feels like it's on track. There will be quite a complicated build. I mean, nothing as complicated as Electric Landlady was, but there will be a fairly complicated build process to this because I want to keep it as natural as possible, and I want to just make sure that it flows. It's a racetrack, so it really needs to flow, and it really needs to allow you to have speed. Anyway, the sun's starting to get a little bit low now, so I'm going to call it a day for today, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next vlog.